Hi, everyone. I'm Wendy Hanlon, Head of New Partnerships with Contact Point 360. Welcome to my series Energy 360, where I provide collections and customer care solutions, insights, and best practices for the energy and utility sectors. In today's episode, I'm going to focus on early termination fees, or ETFs, as they're commonly known as. When a customer terminates service early and needs to pay an early termination fee, it can be extremely helpful to have experts following up to encourage timely payment of those fees. Historically, these accounts can be slow to pay, and this can result in large amounts of aging receivables that, if left unattended, can end up as write-offs. A reasonable amount of proactive effort by ARM experts can go a long way here. Joining us today is Metthew Colucci. Metthew will be sharing his strategies on how to successfully collect on outstanding ETFs. Hello, Metthew. Welcome to Energy 360, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you for the invite.
Metthew, knowing that you work full-time with utility customers, I'm sure our listeners would love to learn a few of your ETF secrets.
I certainly have a lot of experience with that.
Well, great. Are you ready to spill the beans?
Absolutely. Let's roll.
Okay. First, as an experienced collector, what is the difference between collecting utility accounts as compared to, say, credit card debt?
The most important thing to consider is that many people are desperate when they are trying to keep the lights on. These can be very emotional conversations compared to people who owe debt to a financial institution. Also, very few customers read the contract or understand how the utilities work. With credit cards, student loans, and medical debt, there is generally a clear understanding of the debt. So rather than pressuring people to pay something they don't agree or understand, we educate them. Once they understand why the ETF is charged, they are more willing to pay it.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Thank you. I know you have to deal with some difficult calls, and being informative instead of confrontational is certainly more effective, both on the collections and customer care side of things. How do you go about educating customers about their ETF and collecting on it?
It's important to remember that people are usually upset when they first call because they don't know what the charges are for. So the first step is to calm them down, mm, listen carefully, be empathetic, and provide a commitment to helping them. Next, we explain how the energy was purchased in advance on behalf of the customer for the full term of the contract. Utility companies buy in bulk and pass on the discount price to the customer. If the customer breaks the contract, the utility company has to sell the unused energy back to the market at a loss. We let them know that the ETFs are enforceable because our clients suffered a loss as a result of the customer's actions, and that's the ETF is not a penalty. Sometimes we need to point them to the terms of service so they can see in writing that they agreed to pay the ETF if the contract was terminated early.
Okay, so what happens if the customer disputes the ETF and refuses to pay it?
We never argue with the customer. We are required to preserve their dignity even if they are being unreasonable, so we are never confrontational. Instead, we explain the charges and contractual obligations as many times as necessary. If after several tries they continue to refuse, we use a stair step negotiation to try and collect as much as possible, as soon as possible. For example, based on the pre authorized criteria, we may offer the customer a payment plan or a settlement option.
Okay, and how does that work?
Well, if a customer is upset that they are being charged a fee, but also realize that they're obligated to pay, they often agree to split the ETF as a settlement or making a regular payment towards it. This allows them to feel like they've got a win and removes the emotional obstacles that prevented them from paying.
Right. Okay, well, that was great, Metthew. I learned a lot, and I'm sure our audience did as well. Keep up the good work, and thank you for taking the time today. We appreciate all the effort you put into helping utility customers every day.
Thank you, Wendy. It's my pleasure.
So it's obvious that an experienced utility agent is going to have a significant advantage over a typical collector. CP360's agents are well trained in both collections and customer care. This winning combination is highly effective at helping desperate customers while delivering impressive results for our utility clients. I'm Wendy Hanlon. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for my next episode of Energy 360.